Where do we even begin with this game? Well, I am going to begin highlighting a couple of answers from Stephanie White herself. The first one about Caitlin Clark in the fourth quarter and her dragging the Indiana Fever back from a 13-point deficit to hit a tying shot at the end of the game and send it into overtime. 5 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, 17 points in the fourth quarter. By the way, those 5 3-pointers are a franchise record for 3-pointers in a quarter. So she got an opportunity to say some really nice things about Caitlin Clark. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, Steph, what did you think of the rally that your team had in the fourth quarter? Particularly when it comes to Caitlin, I think she made 5 threes in that fourth quarter, more than her first two games combined. So, just your thoughts on the resilience from her.
I thought our whole group showed resilience, in that rally. We showed the ability to make tough shots. We had some really good time and score execution moments, offensively and defensively. In those moments, we just have to have more of it consistently.
I absolutely loathe this woman. She is a truly vile human being, has no business being a coach of this basketball team. One, because she's completely incompetent as a coach. Slurp FC, you can get outraged all you want. You can subtweet me, repost, personal attacks, all the crap. She's a terrible basketball coach, period. You will never convince me otherwise. The evidence is overwhelming. And to say that she does not dislike, at the least, Caitlin Clark is simply a lie. Because again, the evidence is overwhelming. By the way, let's go to Exhibit B because she was basically asked the same question about Kelsey Mitchell.
Start, I guess, with Kelsey Mitchell and what she did today. I mean, it was something else.
It's speechless, really. She was 0 for 7 in the first half and 4 points, and just put us on her back. Made big shot after big shot, big play after big play. She didn't settle. She stayed aggressive, and she willed us.
Wow, are you kidding me with this? Hey, by the way, let's talk a little bit about the Kelsey Mitchell situation. And y'all know I've praised her a lot about being a shooting guard. So of course, when it's warranted, I'm going to be critical. That is simply what fans and supposedly media and analysts do. But first, about the Caitlin Clark stuff. Do you think for a minute this is how good coaches like Becky Hammon, Shell Reeves, and by the way, two coaches that I don't really like as people, but do you think this is how they handle conversations and questions from media about their superstars, especially after an historic fourth quarter like that, dragging the team back from a 13-point deficit, setting a franchise record for 3-pointers? Do you think that is how they handle that? I'm guessing it's not. They praise them. They give them accolades. Could you imagine if this were a performance by Michael Jordan, Phil Jackson answering a question about Jordan the way Stephanie White just answered a question about Caitlin Clark? Are you kidding me? The WNBA is absolutely shocking to me. It shouldn't be, but still, they seem to keep topping themselves. Caitlin, let's go back to the beginning to ramp this up. Caitlin had 2 back-to-back threes early. Now, with the struggle that she's had from 3, that is a big deal. What happened? She got benched. The Indiana Fever proceed to blow a 13-point lead. In fact, I can't remember exactly. Let me know in the comments. I'm doing this off the top of my head. I want to believe it got up to 13 or 15 for Washington. I think at one point they had like a 22-7 run. And then they ended up going to a double digits lead. And one thing you notice when Caitlin Clark went off is that this team is absolutely terrible when she is not on the court. They look like a bunch of first graders. Yes, first graders. Caitlin Clark, this is a wild number when you think of the minutes played. Caitlin Clark was plus 14. Okay, played 39 minutes. Not a single other starter had a plus on the plus minus rating. Kelsey Mitchell, minus 10. Now, interesting enough, Caitlin Clark played 39 minutes. Kelsey Mitchell played 37. So there was some time where they weren't both on the court, but not a lot of it. And yet, Caitlin Clark was plus 14. Kelsey Mitchell was minus 10. Kelsey Mitchell This is insane. She's played 70 minutes in the past 2 games. She does not have a single rebound or a single assist in those 70 minutes of basketball. That is almost impossible. You have to really, really try to have 0 rebounds and 0 assists in 70 minutes of basketball when you are the shooting guard, when you have the ball in your hands that often. But you know what she does have? She has Stephanie White's blessing to be a black hole and chuck every single shot that she wants to chuck and not do a damn thing for the rest of the game because she doesn't play defense. This woman is playing for a max contract, multi-year max contract elsewhere, and she's doing it with her coach's blessing. Oh, by the way, 0 for 2 from the line. What did they lose by? Just curious what they lose by? 2. By the way, Boston 2 of 4 from the line. So Kelsey Mitchell, $1.4 million a year, supermax. Aaliyah Boston, 6.3 million over 3 years. 2 of 6 from the line in a 2-point loss. And don't give me the it happens. Yeah, sure it does. These players are getting paid ridiculous amounts of welcome to the big leagues, welcome to professional sports. You do that and you're going to get criticized because it is deserved. That is how it works. It's not complicated. Oh my gosh, White has to go. It's time to fire her. The front office must be fired. And yes, I know in this instance I'm screaming at clouds. It will not happen, but it absolutely should happen. So I'm going to point it out. It's happened this early for other teams that have high expectations. My Philadelphia Phillies, our expectation with this team is World Series. It's been that way for about 5 years now. We started the season 9-19. Right now it's 162 games, okay? So it's really early. Guess what we did? We fired the manager. By the way, since that 9-19 start, we are 12-4. Yes, 9-19, fired the manager, 12-4. Just saying. I'm just saying. Everything Caitlin Clark gets, I got to point out because we saw this game. It's all her. She has no help from Stephanie White whatsoever. She doesn't have help from her teammates, to be fair, either. It's absolutely ridiculous. No help from the system. Everything. Think about what her numbers would be like if she had a coach that embraced Caitlin Clark and teammates that the coach made clear to those teammates, you are going to play with Caitlin Clark as the superstar. And if you don't, you will find yourself on the bench or gone. Because as we've seen with some players, just embrace Caitlin Clark for what she is, and good things will happen for you on and off the court. And look, let me address Boston real quick because it's interesting that I've talked about this often. Now, maybe it's a game or two, no big deal, but Aaliyah Boston is hurt. What have we been talking about? They did not go get a center in the offseason despite the entire league being free agents. They didn't go to Europe and get a center. They didn't get a center. They have no backup center. They got out-rebounded like 56-44. Timpson only played 4 minutes. They do not have a team built to have Aaliyah Boston out. Period. Again, egregious from the front office. Fire them. Clark put this team on her back in the fourth quarter. 5 3-pointers made. 17 total points. Yes, she also made the final shot in regulation to tie the game. Yes, that was a 3-pointer. She sent the game into overtime. By the way, they were down 13 points. Caitlin Clark single-handedly dragged this team back. Oh, then what does White do when they need that same thing in overtime? Oh, she lets Kelsey Mitchell take that final shot. And what did Kelsey Mitchell do? She missed. Again. Like so many things, Caitlin Clark not take that final shot. I don't care if the other team expects it. I mean, not having Caitlin Clark take that final shot is ridiculous. It is a fireable offense. I do not care if the other team knows it. You design a play that gets her a look, period. If she gets the ball and decides she's not going up for it and can hit someone else, okay, if there's time available. But if not, she has to be the one taking that shot. And I mentioned it earlier, but I just want to emphasize 5 3-pointers in the fourth quarter is a franchise record for 3-pointers in a quarter. Oh, and just an FYI while we're talking about MVP candidate, Caitlin Clark. Through 56 games of her career, she's seventh most in WNBA history in points with 1,059. Despite all those great legends, oh, she also has the most assists in WNBA history through 56 games with 476. Oh, she also has the most 3-pointers made in WNBA history through 56 games with 161. Oh, and yet I'm sure she has more because I'm guessing this happened other times as well. She got robbed of 2 very obvious assists last night. She actually had 10. This is from her own scorers in Gainbridge. This is insane, people. What are we doing? You know what needs to happen, and I know it won't because it's so hard to get such a large number of people to do something like this. But she really need Gamebridge really needs to be empty. Gamebridge really needs to be empty for a game. The Indiana Fever need to play in an empty arena. They need to have TV ratings for a game that's about 250, 300,000 games. They need to make a statement. Otherwise, nothing changes. I will at some point do a video. I'm, collecting stuff. I've got some film stuff that I want to do as well. I wanted to do that in another video. I just wanted to get the reaction and kind of analysis out there about this game. But and look, they can turn. Here's the thing. I keep saying this. They can turn it around. They do have talent on this team. They should not be a bottom feeder team. They should be a playoff team. They should be a title contending team. Do they have to overcome Stephanie White and that makes it a lot more difficult? Yes. Do they have to overcome the roster build in terms of position and things like that because they have a weak front court and no backup center? Yes. Can they do it? Yes. Because if they start winning games, people are like, oh, you were right. I am reacting to and analyzing what is happening now. So I'm not going to glaze everyone for poor performances because in the future they have the talent to turn it around. That is not how it works. Plus, I don't think Stephanie White could. Now, if in a miracle, maybe the owner had a little talk with the front office and they had a little talk with Stephanie White and said, yo, you got to stop. You got to make lots of changes. You cannot do this. You have to embrace Caitlin Clark and her system. If that happens, look out. This team could be monstrous. I'm going to leave it there for this one. I appreciate you checking this out. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, uncensored and unafraid. Shout out to the 19. I will talk to y'all later.